Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech on. February 13th, get your tickets right now. It's going down. We know Florida gonna be there. Miami gonna be there. The legend himself gonna be in the building, making history. Meech, who else coming?
The whole nation. Detroit, St. Louis, California, everybody. Atlanta, Georgia, ATL, stand up.
Woo. We're gonna make history. Get your tickets right.
Have you ever seen anybody confront Rick Ross about you?
Not in person, no.
This story got the whole hip-hop scene buzzing hard right now. Word floating around the streets is that Big Meech, the real deal legend behind the Black Mafia family, finally snapped on Rick Ross after discovering Ross cut him off completely. Yeah, the same Ross who built a huge chunk of his boss image off Meech's whole legacy. Now Meech is calling him out for being straight up fake, and people are saying this moment was long overdue.
Anytime I'm around, he disappears.
But is there any video of anybody hey, why are you running around with this dude's name?
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright.
For years, Ross leaned heavy on the whole BMF vibe to level up his career. The flashy lifestyle, the luxury, the power talk. Every bit of that was inspired by what Meech represented in the culture. But now that Meech is locked up and can't speak up for himself, Ross been moving like that connection never even existed. And folks close to Meech definitely noticed. Let's rewind for a second. When Rick Ross dropped Blowing Money Fast, BMF, in 2010, that track turned into an instant anthem. Every club, every whip rolling through the city, every neighborhood across the country had that song blasting on repeat.
I want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie, F. Gary Gray. Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. There's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big. I can feel it. I'm just talking.
Ross used Meech's name like it was a trophy, even shouting out, "I think I'm Big Meech Larry Hoover," and that bar had him looking like the biggest street boss in the game at the time. Fans truly believed Ross and Meech were solid, especially since Meech's brother Southwest T showed Ross love in interviews back then. But now, more than a decade later, the whole situation is looking completely different, and the streets are watching every move. Reports are flying around saying Meech's camp feels Ross grabbed their name, flipped it into fame, and never showed real appreciation in return. Word drifting from the inside, through letters and messages, people claim came straight from Meech, hinted that he was completely done rocking with Ross. He supposedly said Ross used my life like a mixtape and forgot the real ones behind it. If that's legit, that's a heavy statement with serious weight behind it. Imagine sitting in a cell, watching someone build a whole empire off your image while you can't even speak your piece. That's exactly the vibe Meech is dealing with. Like Ross took the crown, ran with it, and never looked back to honor the people who lived that story for real. Ross, of course, stays silent like he always does when things get messy. When drama hits, he either posts some luxury flexing or acts like the whole situation doesn't even exist. But that quiet approach only made things wilder because then 50 Cent, who's producing the BMF series and actually has real connections to the storyline, jumped in with that same sharp energy he's known for. He dropped a cryptic message saying, "You can't steal another man's life and call yourself real." Everybody instantly knew who that was aimed at. 50 been waiting to take shots at Ross for years, and Meech's frustration gave him the perfect lane to fire back with style.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
Fans started connecting the dots quick. Ross stopped mentioning Meech completely, stopped bringing up BMF in interviews, and even unfollowed people tied to the movement. And when you mix silence with what looks like betrayal, the streets start whispering loud. To really understand why Meech feels so let down, you gotta look back at the history between him and Ross and how everything got twisted over time. Back in the mid-2000s, when BMF was still moving heavy, Meech was already a full-blown icon. Flashy cars, wild parties, putting artists on before they even had a buzz. His whole lifestyle shaped a new wave in hip-hop. And Rick Ross was one of the first rappers to flip Meech's style into a full brand. The whole boss persona he pushed came straight out of Meech's playbook. From the Maybachs, to the velvet robes, to the larger-than-life attitude, everything about Ross's image screamed BMF energy. At first, it looked like Ross was really showing love, but things shifted fast. Once those old rumors about Ross's past job situation surfaced, people started questioning how authentic he truly was. That's when using Meech's name became his shortcut to keeping his street image alive. Ross leaned even harder into the BMF vibe, talking big, while Meech was in court, dealing with serious legal battles. Meech never trashed Ross publicly, but people close to him whispered that he hoped Ross would eventually give something back. Maybe help the family, maybe acknowledge BMF members still out here struggling. Something real. But nothing ever came. Ross made millions off that whole persona, launched Maybach Music Group, and turned himself into a worldwide brand, all while barely acknowledging the folks who inspired the foundation of that image. And that's where the tension quietly started cooking. When the BMF TV series dropped under 50 Cent's direction, it brought the real story back into the spotlight with force. That show reminded everyone exactly where the culture came from, and it made the whole situation between Meech and Ross look even more questionable.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
People started asking loud, where's Ross in all this? Because he had nothing to do with the BMF show. And that made fans question everything. If he was really living that BMF vibe like he claimed, why wasn't he showing support when the real story hit the screen? That same question must have reached Meech's cell, because not long after, reports started coming out saying Meech allegedly told close friends, he was never one of us. He played the part, but never paid the price. That line moved fast through the streets. And of course, 50 Cent being 50 had to jump in with his usual slick timing. On Instagram Live, he joked around saying Ross thought he was Meech, but the real Meech just woke up. The comments went wild instantly. Fans were saying 50 said what plenty of real ones been thinking whenever they see somebody copying a lifestyle they never lived for real. Ross didn't fire back publicly. He never does once 50 starts talking, but insiders say he was heated behind the scenes. People close to his circle said he feels like he's getting disrespected because he believes he always showed Meech love through the music. But the truth is, love without loyalty hits different, and Meech isn't feeling that energy. And when you look at it from Meech's side, it's easy to see why he's frustrated. From the inside, all he sees is people making money off his legacy. Rappers, TV creators, everybody. While the man who lived the story is stuck behind bars. Meech feels like Ross was supposed to keep that respect alive, keep the connection solid, keep the legacy properly represented. Instead, Ross got rich off the image and drifted away from the very person who inspired it all. Now things get even wilder because 50 Cent isn't just reacting. He's moving like a full strategist out here. He knows exactly how to flip real-life tension into straight content gold. The moment word about Meech being frustrated hit the blogs, 50 jumped in instantly, dropping memes and clips from the BMF series like he had them loaded and ready to go. One of his posts said, "Real BMF business, not the rap version," and fans lost their minds. Everybody knew exactly who he was aiming at. It was like 50 was saying, this is what real authenticity looks like, not a persona built for streams and charts. Ross tried to keep it cool, but his silence was loud. He started posting pictures of his mansion, his rare animals, and captions like, "Real bosses stay unbothered." But even those posts boomeranged on him. The comments flooded with people saying things like "Meech made you" and "Stop flexing off another man's story." The internet wastes no time. Once they smell weakness, they bite down hard. Suddenly, the whole untouchable boss look Ross had been rocking for years started showing cracks. For the first time, folks were seriously questioning the foundation of his whole image. Was it something he built for real, or was it borrowed energy from BMF to boost his brand? Meanwhile, word from the inside says Meech has been sending messages and letters making sure the real truth gets out. He's tired of people twisting his story for personal gain. One message allegedly said, "I don't need credit, but I deserve respect." That one line hits hard. He's not chasing fame, he just wants authenticity and acknowledgement. Where Meech comes from, everything is built on loyalty, and loyalty doesn't disappear when the cameras stop rolling. Before anyone knew it, the whole situation spun into a full-blown digital storm, with everybody watching to see who was going to speak up next. Podcasts jumped on the topic instantly. YouTube channels started dropping non-stop breakdowns, and fans were choosing sides like it was a championship matchup, Team Meech versus Team Ross. 50 kept stirring the pot too, hinting that he might even slide Ross into a future BMF episode just so people could see the difference between acting like a boss and being one for real. That's classic 50, petty, sharp, and strategic all in one move. Ross's reputation took another hit when folks started comparing how 50 supports Meech's family versus how Ross moves. 50 stays tapped in with Lil Meech, who literally plays his dad on the show, and he pushes that young man's growth every chance he gets. Meanwhile, Ross is nowhere in sight. No calls, no posts, no acknowledgement at all. Fans called it disrespectful, especially when Ross built a chunk of his image and success off Meech's name in the first place. You could feel the shift happening in real time. People started realizing 50 might have been right the whole time. In hip-hop, perception is everything, and right now Ross is looking boxed in. He can't fire back at 50 because 50 controls the entire narrative. He can't deny what Meech is saying because those words carry real weight in and outside the culture. And if he stays silent, it just makes him look like he's avoiding the whole thing. No matter which way Ross moves, the situation gets tricky. And 50 looks like he's having the time of his life watching every second play out. Now let's talk about what's coming next, because this situation isn't cooling off anytime soon. The tension between Big Meech, Rick Ross, and 50 Cent has turned into a full cultural moment, and fans are demanding Ross respond directly to Meech, not with mansion pics, not with animals, not with motivational talk, but with actual words. People are now demanding Ross show some real respect, fix the situation, or at least admit where he slipped up. But knowing Ross, he might try to sit quiet and hope the noise fades on its own. The only problem, 50 is not letting anything slide. He just dropped an interview saying, everybody want to be real until it's time to be real. Meech was the blueprint, Ross just photocopied it. That quote spread everywhere like wildfire, and even big media outlets picked it up, putting extra pressure on Ross to speak up. And here's the thing, once 50 locks on to someone, it's over. He doesn't let up, he doesn't forget, and he knows exactly how to turn tension into a whole brand strategy. Ross staying silent right now is making him look shaky, and fans are clowning him online saying, you can't call yourself the biggest boss if the real boss just checked you. That type of talk sticks. Meanwhile, Meech's message keeps echoing through the culture. People close to him say he's steady, grounded, and not even trying to start drama. He just wants the real story out there. That's why his words hit different. It's not about hate. It's about truth, respect, and making sure nobody flips his legacy for their own shine. It's all about honor in the end. In a world where so many people fake power and put on an act, Meech is reminding everybody what real respect actually looks like. That's why fans are standing behind him, because they can feel this isn't some publicity stunt. It's personal and it's real. Ross is standing at a crossroads now. If he apologizes, he admits he slipped up. If he ignores it, he looks like he's pretending. Either way, the damage been done. The same man who once rapped, I think I'm Big Meech, now looks like the total opposite. And 50 Cent is not letting him escape that narrative. Every time Ross posts something, 50 drops a slick meme or a sharp comment to remind the world, you borrowed that boss talk. It's brutal, but honestly, it's hilarious at the same time. But this whole situation goes deeper than simple hip-hop drama. It's about legacy. Big Meech built something that still motivates people years later. Ross may have pulled inspiration from the vibe, but you can't fake authenticity forever. 50 just used his platform to shine a light on that truth, and the fans ran with it instantly. Now the streets are buzzing, the blogs are spinning, and everyone's watching closely to see what plays out next. One thing is clear though, you don't play around with legends, and if the rumors are real, Rick Ross learned that lesson the hard way. Because when Big Meech speaks, the whole culture listens. And this time, the message came through loud and clear. You can't cut off the real and still expect people to see you as real yourself. Make sure you drop a comment, share your thoughts, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.